Welcome. Thank you for joining me on this heart-filled journey. Today I'm going to guide you through a guided experience, a meditative experience, one that I hope can bring you here to the jungle, to be present here with me in Peru. We are pretty high for the meters above sea level. We're at like 850. About 1,000. We've got cacao plants, guanabana, soursop, palta, avocado, different fruits growing here already. And with that being said, I just want to say thank you everyone for coming and building this project with me. So, thank you to all the donors, thank you to all the participants, thank you Yindigenous. And with that, let's bring our hands in the first mudra. Our fingers and thumbs touch, they come onto our knees. Then let's close our eyes and breathe. We're going to start with pranayama, just focusing on our natural flow of breath. As we allow ourselves to breathe in clarity, listen to the sounds around me. The sounds transmuting from the ever-essent green that is the jungle. Listen to the crickets singing their songs, to the birds making their last few songs for the night, for the day. Feel the setting of the sun going down the mountain, basking you in warmth and love, in guidance, in divinity. As these sounds begin to change you on a molecular level, on a vibrational level, tune in to our ecosystem. Allow your breath to expand, deepening the inhalation, pausing for a kumbhaka, a retention of breath, before you exhale, cascading down like the waterfalls and rivers from this mountain, from this chakra down to the valley below. Pausing again at the bottom of your exhale for another kumbhaka, a retention of breath before inhaling, climbing up the mountain of your being like the clouds climb up the valley each morning, collecting condensation from the treetops. As the sun comes to the mountain's peak, the clouds kiss the sun before I begin to feel its warmth. Begin to breathe with an ujjayi breath, ujjayi pranayama, releasing your jaw, your tongue away from the roof of your mouth, feeling that relaxation, allowing the back of our throat to sound like the ocean waves. from the Pacific coast, they are thundering, crashing down upon the sand. The sand, the desert that is the coast of Peru. The thunderous waves clasp against the barren ground, pushing the sand up the Andes and allowing that moisture to come through the jungle, protected by the apus, protected by our mountain spirits. Allow your third eye to see the green of the jungle, to allow your heart to connect to the greenery which is always present, always around you. The jungle is the heart chakra embodied. It is emotional. It is profound. It is dark and fresh, like the scent of the feminine energy. Let's bring our palms together and we're going to just rub them. If you have an essential oil near you, feel free to put it on your hands. Rub them so that it sounds like the starting of a rainstorm. The little sun drops that tend to fall at the start of the clouds' perspirations. Then let's do some snapping. Letting those raindrops fall upon the ojo of agua, the purest, most uncontaminated, most protected part of water that is left in this chakra because of the water collected from the river at the bottom of the valley, that is collected from the condensation and the dew that is brought through the clouds up this mountain and into this uncontaminated being. Right here in this chakra. Let's start beating on our chest. Let your palms beat on your heart so you may feel the heartbeat of the jungle. Doesn't matter if you're in rhythm with me, if you're in rhythm with your heart, because we are the rhythm. Our speech, our thoughts, our emotions are the rhythm. The rhythm is sung by the crickets and the birds. That changes tune with every minute. That changes tune whether it is sunny or cloudy. As we pound on our chest, we are releasing any fear that is repressed in our heart, in our emotional body. And I want you just to listen to this prayer. This is tamahe. This is wombful singing. This is the protection of the forest being sung through me for all of you. vibrations bless your body. Let the sound perpetrate, resonate. Let us brush our hair back, brush our bodies, brush away what does not serve us. We're going to make our way into our first yoga pose. The yoga pose is bridge pose. We are building a bridge together. You here present with me, Yindigenous, and what was Sanandome Entre Arboles, which is getting uplift. We are two sides of one bridge, and so we are honoring this development by bringing our feet to our bottoms, laying on back, hands down by our side. Take a moment here before we build the bridge, before we lift our hearts. Take a moment to allow your back body, the part that is most vulnerable of ourselves, allow that to touch earth, soil. Here in the jungle, this chakra, the soil type that we have is red clay, compact and firm, moist at all times, bountiful in minerals and vitamins, ready to purify your body just by the touch of your toes. You can let your legs fall from one side to the other, windshield wiping them, preparing your hips for the movement. Awakening our womb section. Even if you're masculine, even if you're a man, you have this womb space of creation. An energetic womb where the women are blessed with this power of sustaining life, like Pachamama sustains us even when we defile her with the deforestation. Let's bring those knees straight up, and let's start by first rolling our hips up and bringing our hands underneath our hips, taking a nice restful position first, walking those elbows in, walking the shoulders in, allowing ourselves to hold our creation, to hold our power in our hands. Allow yourself to breathe deep into your belly. Release the muscles of your booty. Allow this to be the energy of pushing away the soil, feeling the strength in our legs, which pushes our chest towards our chin. As we have our chin pressed against our chest, we are engaging the Jalabandha, the lock in our throat. Our bridge is built by our feet, arcing across our front body and coming to our head. This is the representation that what we think gets put in front of us. Let's bring one foot straight up into the air. Let this foot be a beacon that sometimes the path is not always built for us. Sometimes the path is not always open for us to walk at the time that we want to walk it. flex your toes towards your face, point your toes towards the sky. Do this a few times, shortening and elongating the muscle fibers of our calf. And then allow your foot to make some circles. Release that foot down and bring the other one up. Again, flexing and pointing the toes. Trying to keep the hips level. Reminding us that if any bugs and creatures come up onto us, onto our temple, in the jungle, the indigenous people say, anytime you're bit by an ant or a bee or anything like that, right? Anytime an insect perpetrates your skin, it is because you were lacking the medicine offered by that animal, not just as an animal totem, but because the insects eat all of the plant matter. And so you're receiving that gift by being bitten by them. If you'd like, you could release your hands underneath your hips and sustain yourself with your own force, with your own strength. Remembering to breathe and accepting that we are one embodiment. North and South America, we are all Americans. We're not Americans and Latinos. We are all Americans. And we are here today celebrating this bridge that we are creating both energetically and physically because some man came through and cut a canal through the Americas, which separated our divine connection to the jungle, which divided our connection to the indigenous medicines. And this canal, this Panama Canal, is the hub for human trafficking in the entire world. Peru, much like Brazil and Colombia and a little bit of Ecuador, has the Amazonian River. Here, where we are safe enough distance from Pangoa, but relatively close. We're about 2 hours. And Pangoa is a huge hub for trafficking of indigenous children into mining situations. And from Puerto N, those children get on a boat up the river into Colombia, through the Darien jungle, into the Panama Canal, and are shipped out on freight boats to anywhere in the world, and they will never be found again. We are building this bridge to bring the North and South Americas together so that our children may be safe. Exhale, release the hands, release the shoulders, drop down one vertebra at a time. Let your legs fall from side to side again. Then we are going to stretch our feet out. We're going to place our hands on either side of our sit bones. We're going to press up onto our shoulders. Let them walk in between again. And then we are going to come into fish pose. Because from Florida, where Yindigenous is held, to Peru. Those fish are dancing through the Gulf of Mexico, down the Atlantic Ocean, and sometimes there can be a huge tidal wave that goes from the ocean through the Amazon River and floods the Amazon River, bringing fish up into the trees, bringing frogs up into the trees, and can affect huge, huge, huge portions of the Amazon forest. So we're starting off in our fish pose. We're going to release our head back and down, opening up our throats, opening up our expressive nature, expressing ourselves in the different colors and arrays that we find in the diversity of the birds, in the diversity of the animals, in the diversity of the fruit that you can find in the jungle here. From aguaje, soursop, mamey. Letting all of your expressions come pouring from your throat. Let your heart reach towards the sky like the fish who end up soaring through the treetops as the tidal wave comes crashing through the Amazonian jungle in the low Amazon basin, where the trees are taller than skyscrapers and wider than a tiny home. Where the fish can grow up to 10 meters long, and many indigenous villages along the Amazonian basin, along the Amazonian River, believe in mermaids, have seen mermaids, have felt the spells of the mermaid song. Here in this mountain, all my neighbors call me the mermaid of the mountain, the mermaid of the ojo de agua, the little uncontaminated pond that we have. Let yourself be able to breathe in the waters. The water that is contaminated in the U.S. that comes from our faucets tastes so different, looks so different than the water here. The sacred blessing that my people here see in the water. They say, do not even bathe in the ojo de agua. Don't wash the clothes in the ojo de agua. Fill buckets up and pour the water out that you use in a different location. Don't even swim in it, because our bodies are contaminated. Here, they conserve water so much. Here, water per year is less than $12. Don't let the sadness of what I say, let your heart sink out of this pose. Remember to reach upward, reaching towards the uncontaminated vapor and the clouds above you that come from south, north, east, and west. Exhale. If you can, gently bring your head upwards. Take your head from shoulder to shoulder. We're going to take our hands out behind us. Relax on your back. Stretch your hands tall over your head, feeling how long you are. Feeling like one of the vines that grows from the water of the orchids and the tree tops. The seeds that get blown by the wind into the orchids and then fall into the crevices of the tree, and the roots grow down from the tree tops, down the canopy, into the ground. Exhale, release your hands down by your side. We're going to get ready for wild things. Let's bring our feet up. We have walked into the depths of the jungle. We're going to put one hand back as if we're a server carrying pizza. The other hand, we're going to have just up. You can use it for support to get yourself up into this pose if you'd like. It's a half version of a wheel pose, so a half version. You could take your feet a little bit wide or even a little bit more forward because it is a smaller version of a wheel. And we're going to bring ourselves up. Hand comes out, one leg can be bent, one leg could be straight, both could be straight, whatever you feel. And let your hand guide you forward. Wild thing. The jungle is filled with so many spirits, from banshees to women in the jungle calling your name, pulling you in. Here, the indigenous have so many spirits. They walk with tobacco and coca leaves. Tobacco to protect themselves, coca to offer to the other beings. Let's come into downward facing dog. Doing yourself a little dance, coming over, allowing yourself to rock from hip to hip, hip to hip. Peru dogs are not cared for like we care for them in the U.S. Dogs here are bountiful in the streets. The dogs here can be designer dogs, and they can still be street dogs. But much like the street dogs, they roam in tribes, they roam in packs. Much like the native tribes still found in the Amazonian basin. In the higher jungle, there aren't as many nomadic tribes as in the lower regions. The lower region of the jungle is deeper montane, but also has more abundant food because the higher jungle where we are now has too much deforestation for these nomadic tribes to be living. When I was in the depths of Atalaya, I met a nomadic tribe. Everyone was almost buck naked except for the little things that they wore around their hips. They were painted. They were cannibals. If you feel so called, you can go back into Wild Thing on the other hand, opening our hearts up to all of the spirits of the jungle, good, acknowledging the bad spirits too, offering them some herbs, thanking them for protecting the Amazonian jungle and protecting it from the deforestation and protecting it from the contamination. Acknowledging all the wild beasts that are known and unknown to humanity. And then we'll exhale, make our way back into downward facing dog. The domestication of animals and becoming our fiel friends, our loyal friends. Here there are many indigenous villages as well as colonized villages who have monkeys as pets, macaws as pets, toucans as pets, macheteros and cuptes as pets, mushashos as pets. Let's bend our knees, come up onto our toes, and we're going to leap into a new dimension, leaping into frog pose. Feet come down. We're going to set our bottoms down. Hands come back. Let me get better into the frame. Hands come back, frog pose. Keep that back nice and straight. We want to be proud because the frogs are the protector of the jungle. The frogs are the protector of our ojo de agua, which is in this land. 2 days ago, the leaf frogs just laid some frog eggs. If you'd like, you could bring one hand to your leg and stretch up. Coming back through center and stretch up. Depending on which school of yoga you follow, some people say this is frog pose, some people call this garland pose though. This is how most people use the restroom around here. It helps elongate your organs and things like that. So it's really good for your digestive system. But other schools of yoga do frog pose a little differently, where they have their hands come forward, knees come down, feet are still out, and then they come forward here. Different than puppy dog, because puppy dog has the body up more. Frog pose, our hips are in alignment with our knees,